Well, on a day full of trades, the Toronto Maple Leafs announced a signing. I know a lot of Leaf fans are very discouraged about what happened with the Leafs, but I will have a video explaining what happened today, either tonight or tomorrow. I'm telling you guys, it's been really busy, but the Toronto Maple Leafs announced today that the 4-year contract extension with Jake Muzzin is finally complete. We all kind of figured that this was coming, and this is a really good contract. Like, forget everything else. Like, you guys need to just focus on this for a second, because this is a good deal. $5.625 million for Jake Muzzin on the open market. He's definitely getting more than that. He's probably getting at least 6 to 6.5. That's what some of the market numbers have been like for comparable defensemen. But Jake Muzzin is 30 years old. He's collected 38 points in 82 games with the Leafs, including 22 and 52 games this season. Obviously, we acquired him in that trade with the Los Angeles Kings last year. The guy is just solid. I mean, he's been solid for the Toronto Maple Leafs since he's come here. You can argue he's been the Leafs' best defenseman. He's been a leader without a letter on his jersey, and I'm pumped about the deal. You're not, excuse me, getting top 4 defensemen like Muzzin for this cheap. And this is the reason why it makes a lot of sense, is because the Leafs need more players like Muzzin instead of more players like a Tyson Barrie or, a Morgan Riley. No disrespect, it's just they need more guys that can, play with a little bit of physicality, and, do a little bit of the other things defending wise, instead of just putting up points. Now, Jake Muzzin's extension in Toronto also includes a no movement clause for next season before converting into a no trade clause, and 10-team no trade in future years. The Leafs are not required to protect him as well in the Seattle expansion draft, so that's also good. The Muzzin extension is also heavily front-loaded and includes more than $16 million in signing bonuses. So again, if the Leafs do in fact need to trade him in a couple years, since the contract is heavily front-loaded, the money that they trade to another team, the actual money of it will be much less. Like, let's say in his final year, I don't know, there's his cap hit is still $6 million, but because of the signing bonuses and all that other stuff, he's only owed in real dollars in the last couple years of his deal. Let's say he's only really owed half of that. Like, let's say it's $12 million for the last 2 years, and he's, obviously that's the AAV, that won't change. And the Leafs might have front loaded this to the point that they only owe in real dollars like $4 to $6 million. So it's very confusing, but it being front-loaded makes a ton of sense, because Jake Muzzin obviously isn't getting any younger, but the fact that he's 30 and he got a 4-year deal instead of some guys getting, 5 or 6 year deals, those extra years count heavily. And I think that because of what Muzzin brings, the Leafs window is in the next, 4 to 5 years within this, the window that's already open right now. People seem to think that the Leafs are all a bunch of 30-year-olds. They're in, their early 20s. They're going to be fine. Their window is wide open, regardless of how they've played this year. But Jake Muzzin fits right into it, and this is a good deal. Again, 4-year contract for Jake Muzzin. I'm pretty pumped about it. $5.625 million. In a time where the Leafs have been struggling, and, you would hope that they would bring in another big defenseman, they make a good contract. So kudos to Dubas for that one. If you're new to this channel, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And hopefully I'll see you guys in the next upcoming videos. Check out my other trade videos. Peace.